talk about 3 concealed carry mistakes you need to fix right now. But if you don't own a gun, that's going to be a problem because you can't carry a gun if you don't own a gun. So we'll fix that right now. We have a gun giveaway going on. You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. So click the link in the description down below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. Now let's talk about these concealed carry blunders that you might be making. First, blunder number 1, constantly adjusting and checking your gun in public. Yes, the first few times you carry your gun, you're going to be thinking about that. The gun's out there, do people see it, and all that sort of stuff. But if you're constantly reaching down, grabbing it, adjusting your holster, that's a problem that gives away to people. That is a tell, if you are a poker player, that lets people know that you're carrying a gun. So constantly adjusting and checking on your gun is probably worse, but certainly as bad as a gun that prints through your cover garment. The best way to do this, to fix this situation, is to get a really good belt and a really good holster system that keeps your gun in place and close to your body. Of course, when you do this, you've got to train and make sure that you can access that firearm quickly, easily, and safely. But to make sure that the gun isn't flopping around, that you don't have to be adjusting it, good belt and good holster. All right, on to number 2, accidental discharge. Yeah, that would be a tremendous blunder. But an accidental discharge typically happens, and you know what? I want to change that term. Negligent discharge, unintended discharge. It's not an accident. It happened because you made it happen. So I'm not going to let you off the hook by saying it's accidental. But most negligent discharge or unintended discharge of your firearm happen during administrative handling. Now you can solve this problem by loading your gun, putting it in the holster, and leaving it alone. A good holster covers the trigger. Some have a retention strap over the top that will also cover the back of the slide or the hammer or something like that. But a holstered gun is a safe gun. So consider this. You load up your gun, you put it in the holster, you put it on your hip, you carry it all day, and you've had no problems. No bad guys tried to assault you. You didn't have to defend yourself with your gun. You come home at the end of the day. Nothing has changed with your gun. The status is still the same. It's still in condition 1. It's ready to fire. It's ready to be used. Take it off your belt in its holster and put it away wherever you store it. Typically inside a little gun safe or a quick access safe or something like that. Just keep the gun in that holster. And then maybe once a week or once a month or whatever schedule you decide, take that gun out of the holster, carefully unload it, clean it, wipe it down, do whatever it is that you need to do with it. But negligent discharge happens when you're messing with the gun when you don't need to be messing with the gun. So get it set, ready to go, check it, leave it alone. That will solve number 2. Now, moving on to number 3 is a direct response to number 2, carrying a gun without a round in the chamber. I understand there is still a great debate about this, but you've got to realize that carrying a gun fully loaded, that's what I'm going to call this, a fully loaded gun, which is a full magazine, a round in the chamber, and all of the safeties engaged. That's condition 1. That's how you should be carrying your gun so that it is ready for immediate use. A defensive firearm is a piece of emergency life-saving equipment. You will not have time to make it ready to load your gun in the face of a sudden assault. Don't think that you will. Don't say, well, I saw that old video of the Israeli method. They pull it out and rack the slide. That's not what you want to be doing. And as proof of this, I will tell you that every police officer in America carries their gun in condition 1. The gun is safe. It will not go off. Remember, we talked about negligent discharge? Guns are made to fire. You have to do a very specific series of things to make a gun fire. And if you don't do those things, all modern firearms in good condition, properly maintained, and that's what you should be doing. You should have a gun in good condition and you should be properly maintaining it. All of them are safe to carry with a live round in the chamber. The big part about this is that you must maintain trigger finger discipline throughout the draw stroke to make sure that you don't fire the gun unintentionally. You have to pull the trigger all the way to the rear. So trigger finger discipline is how you solve that problem of being uncomfortable with carrying with a round in the chamber. But again, I cannot stress enough, all modern firearms are safe to carry with a live round in the chamber. And those of you who just swear that it's not true and you're going to shoot yourself in the butt or shoot your junk off or whatever it is that you're worried about, think about this. All of your revolvers have a round in the chamber. The old cowboy guns, always we carried those on an empty chamber because there was no hammer block safety. It was just a firing pin with a clear path to the primer. Those times have changed. Hammer blocks, trigger safeties, all sorts of internal safeties that keep the striker from hitting the firing pin until you have absolutely engaged properly and pulled that trigger all the way to the rear will keep you safe. So please carry with a round in the chamber. That will probably save your life. Certainly you'll be way behind the curve. You're going to be behind the curve anyway because the bad guy gets to choose the time, place, and manner of the assault. And you have to catch up. You don't want to introduce one more step, one more thing you have to do to catch up, to get ahead so you can survive. So carry with a round in the chamber. Do you carry with a round in the chamber? Because if you don't, you need to watch this video right next to me because it's dangerous not to, and I'll explain why. Yes, you should carry with one in the chamber.